Bonsoir, mesdames et messieurs. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's nice to see you all. Bienvenue à notre soirée du conseil. Before I start, I'd like to say a few words. On behalf of your Kirkland Town Council, I would like to wish you all lots of love, good fortune, and health for 2023. Au nom de votre conseil municipal de Kirkland, je voudrais vous souhaiter à tous beaucoup d'amour, bonne chance et santé pour 2023 et merci d'être venus en si grand nombre. So we'll start our meeting. Annie?
Alors, il est proposé d'adopter l'ordre du jour de la présente séance ordinaire du 16 janvier 2023 tel que déposé.
Un proposeur.
I propose that Nancy Kokinosidis.
Et quelqu'un pour le surmonter?
I'll second that, Paul before.
Merci.
Under the minutes section, at 3.1, it is proposed that the minutes of the regular sitting held on December 5th, 2022 at 8 p.m. be approved.
Proposed.
I propose that, John Morrison.
And second?
I'll second that, the chairman is second.
At 3.2, it is proposed that the minutes of the special sitting held on December 19, 2022 at 7 p.m. be approved. It was the budget sitting.
For 2023, yes, as a proposal.
I'll propose that, Steve Bouchard.
And second?
I'll second that, Karen Cliff.
Thank you.
Point 3.3, il est proposé d'approuver le procès-verbal de la séance extraordinaire tenue le 19 décembre 2022 à 7h15 concernant le TTI.
Proposeur.
Proposé, Paul Before.
Et secondé par?
Secretary, John Morrison.
Merci.
At 3.4, it is proposed that the minutes of the special sitting held on December 19, 2022 at 7:30 p.m. be approved. It's the taxation bylaw.
Proposed.
Je le propose, Karen Cliff.
Et secondé?
Je le second, Nancy Kokinosidis.
Merci.
Nous sommes maintenant au point 4, compte payable. Il est proposé de confirmer et d'approuver le paiement d'un montant total de 8 82 797,61 $ pour l'ensemble des chèques émis et annulés, des dépôts directs et des paiements préautorisés pour la période du 1er au 31 décembre 2022.
Un proposeur.
Je vais le proposer, le chairman is second.
Et secondé?
Je vais le seconder, Steve Bouchard.
Merci.
Under item 5, bylaws, the first one is 5.1, bylaw number Gen 2022-56, entitled Bylaw Concerning the Internal Governance of the Municipal Council of the Town of Kirkland is presented for adoption. Considering that a notice of motion was given and a draft of this bylaw was tabled on December 5th, 2022, it is proposed to adopt this bylaw as tabled. This bylaw will come into force on January 20th, 2023, date of publication of a public notice to that effect on the town's website and billboards, and a copy of this bylaw is made available to the public on the town's website.
First, I'd like to have somebody move it.
I'll propose that, Paul Before.
And second?
I'll second that, John Morrison.
And I would like to know now who's against this bylaw, which section of this bylaw? Okay.
I'd like to officially object. Thank you.
Okay. And okay, we got Karen, Steve, and Nancy.
I object to the Article 5.7 of the bylaw, which is concerning the video recording of a council meeting.
Okay. Mike, just use your, yeah.
It's the objection is for 5.7 of this bylaw, which concerns video recording of council meetings. I am for the recording of video recording of council meetings. Therefore, I object to it.
Okay. Perfect. And Nancy Sanders.
I do object to Article 5.7.
It seems that we've got a tie, so I'll have to break the tie. I'm voting for the bylaw. So therefore, it's the majority, and it's approved.
Shame on you.
Au point 5.2,
Merci.
le règlement de zonage numéro 9058-104 intitulé Règlement modifiant le règlement de zonage numéro 9058 afin d'interdire l'usage d'établissements de résidence principale dans les zones résidentielles et mixtes est présenté pour adoption. Considérant que, conformément à l'article 356 de la loi sur les cités et villes, avis de motion du présent règlement a été donné et que le projet de règlement a été déposé à la séance ordinaire du conseil du 7 novembre 2022, considérant que conformément à la loi sur l'aménagement et l'urbanisme, le projet de règlement qui contient des dispositions propres à un règlement susceptible d'approbation référendaire a été adopté à la séance ordinaire du 7 novembre, qu'une consultation publique portant sur le projet de règlement a été tenue le 21 novembre et que le second projet de règlement a été adopté sans changement à la séance ordinaire du 5 décembre, considérant qu'un registre a été tenu le 20 décembre 2022 à l'Hôtel de Ville pour chaque zone concernée et contiguë et qu'aucune signature demandant la tenue d'un scrutin référendaire n'a été reçue, il est proposé d'adopter le règlement de zonage 90-58-104 intitulé Règlement modifiant le règlement de zonage numéro 90-58 afin d'interdire l'usage d'établissements de résidence principale dans les zones résidentielles et mixtes. Ce règlement entrera en vigueur le 20 janvier 2023, suivant sa publication sur le site Internet et les panneaux d'affichage. Le règlement est également disponible sur le site Internet de la Ville.
Un proposeur,
Je le propose, Karen Cliff.
et secondé par,
Vous allez seconder du chairman Chapman.
merci.
Item 5.3 is the adoption of the second draft of bylaw 9058-105, which is entitled Bylaw Amending Zoning Bylaw 9058 in order to modify certain particular provisions applicable to industrial zones and certain particular provisions applicable to zones 301M, 303M, 305M, 306M, and 325M. Considering that no representations from interested persons were made during the public consultation held regarding this bylaw on December 21st, 2022 at 5:30 p.m., considering that the object of this bylaw is for industrial areas, 1, to increase the minimum of in-ground vegetation, reduce the floor space occupancy ratios for office or laboratory space, add new cladding materials, reduce the number of parking spaces, and make changes to the zones that I mentioned. Considering that there were modifications made between the filing of the first draft and the second draft that is presented tonight, with regards to maximum floor index and the maximum height from the ground level of the front and rear building where it's calculated, and the addition of a limit of a maximum number of occupants to 4. It is proposed to adopt with change the second draft bylaw 9058-105, which is made available to the public on the town's website. And there's going to be a public notice on the requirements for requesting a referendum that will be posted this Friday, January 20th, 2023.
In layman's term, that's all the industrial property that you'll see on the TCAN where the REM is going. All these industrial part of land have to be modified to basically be and to concur with the bylaws that exist already. Okay, perfect. I need a proposal.
I'll propose that Nancy Cook
And second,
Un second, Paul Duvart.
merci.
Nous sommes maintenant à la section 6, contrat. Le premier, le 6.1, il s'agit du contrat PP 2023-22, la fourniture de 2 camions diesel, cabine et châssis. Suivant cet appel d'offres public, une soumission a été reçue à l'intérieur du délai imparti. Cette soumission a été ouverte publiquement le 14 décembre et à la suite d'un examen des documents reçus, la soumission a été jugée conforme aux documents d'appel d'offres. Il est par conséquent recommandé d'octroyer le contrat TP 2023-22 à Camion Excellence Peterbilt Inc., le plus bas soumissionnaire conforme pour un montant de $484 385 sous toute taxe applicable incluse.
Okay, proposed by?
Chairman proposed John Morrison.
And second?
I second that, Karen Cliff.
Thank you.
Item 6.2 is the cancellation of call for tenders by invitation PP 2023-36-1 for the supply of compostable paper bags. Considering that following an inventory check, it was determined that the town had an adequate quantity of compostable bags and that the quantity of these bags provided for in the call for tenders was too high for the town's needs. Considering that the tender documents provide that the town does not undertake to accept either the lowest or any of the tenders received, it is proposed to cancel the call for tender by invitation TP 2023-36-1 for the supply of compostable paper bags and to reject the only tender received.
Le proposeur.
All proposed amendments ainsi co-considered.
Et secondé par?
I'll second that, Karen Cliff.
Merci.
Au point 6.3, il est proposé de reconduire le contrat d'entretien et de soutien des logiciels d'application PG Solutions Inc., autorisé par le biais de la résolution CM 10.172 pour la période du 1er janvier au 31 décembre 2023 pour un montant de $119 629, toute taxe applicable incluse.
Le proposeur.
Je vais le proposer du chairman du
Secondé.
Je vais le seconder, Steve Bouchard.
Item 6.4 is a group purchase for the renewal of the town's general insurance. It is proposed to authorize the payment of a total amount of $65,981.50, all applicable taxes included, to the Union des municipalités du Québec for the share of the collective deductible of civil liability insurance attributed to the town of Kirkland for the 2022-2023 term, including an amount of $1,683.41 for the fees as agent of the members of the Regroupement des municipalités de l'île de Montréal, and to authorize the payment of a total amount of $14,927.55, all applicable taxes included, to Beneva, which was formerly known as La Capitale General Insurance, for the insurance and brokerage fee premiums for Block C, which is the owner's automobile for the 2023-2024 term.
Okay, proposal.
I'll propose that called before.
And second?
And I'll second that, John Morrison.
Thank you.
Sur mon point 6.5, il est proposé d'autoriser une dépense additionnelle de $35 938 et 2 sous, toute taxe applicable incluse, payable à le groupe Proville pour des travaux supplémentaires effectués dans le cadre du contrat TP 2020-04, service d'entretien électrique avec 4 options de renouvellement.
Un proposeur.
I'll propose that, Karen Cliff.
Et secondé.
I'll second that, Steve Bouchard.
Merci.
We are now under item 7, administration and finance. The first one is 7.1. It is proposed to maintain the potentially dangerous dog declaration of October 6, 2020. That was done in resolution CM 2209, and to ratify the preliminary and final orders issued on November 2nd and December 22nd, 2022 by myself, Annie Riendo, town clerk, and employee responsible for the application of the regulation, respecting the application of the Act to promote the protection of persons by establishing a framework with regard to dogs, and bylaw number Gen 2020-54 entitled Bylaw Relating to Animals.
Okay, propose.
I'll propose that Nancy
And
co-considered.
second by?
I'll second the chairman.
Thank you.
Au point 7.2, il est proposé d'approuver la liste des contributions aux groupes communautaires locaux, totalisant un montant de $70 $345 pour l'année 2023, tel que déposé.
Un proposeur.
Je vais proposer John Morrison.
Et secondé par.
Je vais le seconder, Karen Cliff.
Merci.
Au point 7.3, il s'agit des contributions financières additionnelles pour l'année 2023. Il est proposé d'autoriser les ajouts suivants à la liste qui vient d'être approuvée. Donc, les organismes sont les suivants. Emma Québec pour un montant de $909. Ride for Dad pour un montant de $500. Associazione Italo-Canadese del West Island, $275. Et 690 Lakeshore Squadron pour un montant de $1,650.
Un proposeur.
I'll propose that all before.
Et secondé.
Je vais le seconder, Steve Bouchard.
Merci.
Item 7.4. In accordance with the Code of Ethics and Professional Conduct of Elected Municipal Officials, Council take note of the tabling by the Town Clerk of the Register of written statements by members of Council in respect of any gift, hospitality, or other benefit received whose value exceeds $200. It's a tabling. Ce qui nous amène au point 8. Les ressources humaines. Le premier point est 8.1. Il est proposé de nommer Mme Daphne Ba-Odat au poste cadre de chef de section approvisionnement au sein des services administratifs pour une période d'essai de 12 mois à compter du lundi 9 janvier 2023, le tout conformément aux politiques d'emploi présentement en vigueur pour les employés cadres de la ville de Kirkland.
On va en avoir 4 autres sans rien. We'll have 4 more employees like that. For your information, Ken, they're all replacements. Okay? So for the first one, I need a proposer.
Je vais proposer all before.
And second?
I second that, Karen Cliff.
Thank you.
Item 8.2, it is proposed to appoint Ms. Carole Perrault to the position of Office Clerk and Facility Reservation Agent within the Recreation and Library Department, effective Monday, January 16, 2023. In accordance with the collective agreement currently in effect for white-collar employees of the town of Kirkland.
Okay. Un proposeur.
I'll propose that, Steve Bouchard.
Et secondé par.
I'll second that, Nancy Kokkinakis.
Merci.
Au point 8.3, il est proposé de nommer Mme Shirley Hayden au poste d'aide de bibliothécaire, service au public et référence au sein du service des loisirs de la bibliothèque, à compter du mercredi 11 janvier 2023, le tout conformément à la convention collective présentement en vigueur pour les employés code blanc de la ville de Kirkland.
Un proposeur.
Vous allez proposer Luciano Picciott.
Et secondé par.
Je secondé John Morrison.
Merci.
Le point 8.4, il est proposé de nommer M. Omar Soto-Rodriguez au poste cadre de chef de division bibliothèque au sein du service des loisirs de la bibliothèque pour une période d'essai de 12 mois à compter du mercredi 4 janvier 2023, le tout conformément aux politiques d'emploi présentement en vigueur pour les employés cadres de la ville de Kirkland.
Un proposeur.
I propose that all before.
Et secondé.
Je vais le seconder, Karen Cliff.
Merci.
Le point 8.5, il est proposé de nommer et de confirmer le statut d'employé permanent de M. Chara Tabat au poste de col bleu de préposé aux travaux de propreté et à l'entretien, sport et loisirs au sein du service des loisirs de la bibliothèque, et ce en date du 16 octobre 2022, le tout conformément à la convention collective présentement en vigueur pour les employés code bleu de la ville de Kirkland.
Un proposeur.
I'll propose that, Nancy Kokkinakis.
Et secondé par.
Je secondé John Morrison.
Merci.
We are now under item 9, which is the Urban Planning Advisory Committee. The first item is 9.1. It is proposed to take note of the request for approval of the site planning and architectural integration program and accompanying documents for the modification project regarding the expansion of a single-family home located on lot 1993145 in zone 123R at 66 Rondo Street, and the extract of the minutes of the PAC meeting held on December 13, 2022, and to approve as submitted the site planning and architectural integration plans listed in item 2.1.1 of the minutes of the PAC meeting held on December 13, said plans being in conformity with bylaw SPARP 2022-55 and having received a favorable recommendation from the PAC.
Propose.
I'll propose that, Steve Bouchard.
And second.
I'll second that, Luciano Pichaka.
Le point 9.2, il est proposé de prendre acte de la demande d'approbation des plans d'implantation et d'intégration architecturale et des documents d'accompagnement relativement au projet d'agrandissement d'une maison unifamiliale située sur le lot 1991508 dans la zone 114R, située au 97 rue Park Ridge, et de l'extrait du procès-verbal du CCU daté du 13 décembre 2022, et d'approuver tel quel les plans d'implantation et d'intégration architecturale énumérés au point 2.2.1 du procès-verbal de la réunion du CCU du 13 décembre, les 10 plans étant conformes au règlement PIA 2022-55 et ayant fait l'objet d'une recommandation favorable du CCU. Oui, c'est le 97 Park Ridge.
Okay, yes. Okay, I need the proposer.
Je vais le proposer, Luciano Pichaka.
And second.
Je vais le seconder, Steve Bouchard.
Thank you.
And the last one under that item is 9.3. It is proposed to take note of the request for approval of the site planning and architectural integration program and accompanying documents for the construction of a project of 3 industrial buildings and their developments located on lots 2461131, 2461241, 2461244, 2461468, 6255864, and 6255865, which are located in Zone 306M, and the extract of the minutes of the PAC meeting held on December 13, and to approve the site planning and architectural integration plans listed in item 3.2.1 of the minutes of the PAC meeting of December 13, said plans being in conformity with the bylaw SPARP 2022-55 and having received a favorable recommendation from the PAC with the condition mentioned in item 3.2.2 of the minutes of December 13.
To make it simpler, it's the Rosefellow project on the north side. North side. That's the piece of land that goes from St. Charles to Vernon. Okay, somebody to propose?
I'll propose that, Steve Bouchard.
And second?
I'll second that, Luciano Pichaka.
Thank you.
Il n'y a aucune affaire touchant la sécurité publique et la circulation qui est traitée séance tenante. There is no business pertaining to the environment table at the sitting. Ce qui nous amène au rapport du maire sur les décisions prises par le conseil d'agglomération de Montréal aux assemblées ordinaires et extraordinaires du 22 décembre 2022.
Yeah, on that day we had 2 meetings. One started at 9:30. It was an assembly extraordinaire where basically there was 3 articles in particular that we voted against. It's item 30.01. It was the actual agro budget for 2023. There was 30.02. It's the 10-year capital program for the agro. That is out of whack that we voted against. And there's the 30.03. It's the transportation budget for the SDM. That's our agro responsibility. And in 30.04, it's the 10-year capital program for the SDM agro. So we voted all against it. Then we had another meeting at 1:30, and it pertained to the cutoff. And again, in item 30.03, it related to the sharing of the quote that we vote against. That's completely exaggerated. In 4201, it was for the method of payment for the quote, but in our case, it's twice a year, and it amounts for this year to how much total? $34 million of our good earned money that's going to Montreal, to the agro. And then 42.02, it's the quote for the water that we have to pay. We voted against it. And 42.3, it's the financial planification of the agro itself. And at that meeting, I took the liberty to ask a question to Madame Plante, la mairesse and responsible of the agglomeration. And my question was very simple. I asked her, are you in agreement with the comments that Madame Olivier, Dominique Olivier, is part of the executive, and she's in charge of the financial aspect of the agro in the city of Montreal. And the comments that Madame Olivier made was comments in the actual Montreal Gazette of December 1st. And she said, and I quote, I think it really shows the current model that relies on transfer payment calculated on fiscal potential as per at its day. And she further added in this article, it's really time that we sit down, that means sitting down with us, the merged city, that we work and that we redefine equity and that we work together to see how we can arrive at a distribution that is fair for everyone. I asked Madame Plante, can you basically, first of all, say, are you in agreement with what your right-hand person said? She didn't want an answer, typically Madame Plante. She referred it again to Madame Olivier, that basically reiterated exactly the same thing, that means shows. So, in a way, I was glad, and she said, furthermore, we'll be working in the coming year at establishing a timetable. So we can sit down, both groups, the merged city and Montreal. So we're one step further, but, you know, I don't trust Montreal, honestly. But at least she gave an opening that, yeah, we'll work on the timetable. In our next meeting, I'll make sure that that timetable is put forward and that we agree on. So that's my report on the agro. It's not a good report because this year the budget was out of control, and I'll stop for my comment there because I get really mad on certain cases. So that's my report for the agro.
Which brings us, Mr. Mayor, to our item at 13.1, which is the bilingual status of the town of Kirkland. Sorry.
Yeah, that's another one. And I'll be reading it. Maintaining the bilingual status of the town of Kirkland. Considering that bilingualism has been an integral part of the everyday life of the Kirkland community, where the French and English language have been coexisting in harmony since before the incorporation of the municipality. Considering that leaders who have succeeded one another at the head of the city over the years have diligently recognized the importance of serving the Kirkland population in both French and English, with due regards to the community linguistic diversity. Considering that the member of the Kirkland Town Council recognize that bilingualism has now become a core value of the town of Kirkland in all aspects of municipal life, and which to ensure the sustainability of continued service to the public in both French and English. Considering that since the adoption in 1977, the Charter of French Language recognized the town of Kirkland as having bilingual status, giving that half the residents within its territory have English as their mother tongue. Considering that such recognition specifically gives the town of Kirkland the right to provide all of its service to the public in both French and English, considering that a legislative change brought to the charter of the French language bill, assented to June 1st, 2022, an act respecting French, the official and common language of Quebec, provides that a recognition obtained by the municipality is withdrawn where, in light of the language data from each census carried out in accordance with the Canadian statistic legislation, less than half of the residents have English as their mother tongue. Considering in written notice that December 12, 2022, l'Office de la langue française informed the town of Kirkland that the demolinguistic data from the 2021 census conducted by Statistic Canada show that the municipality does not meet the requirement for recognition under Article 20.1 of the Charter of French Language, which only 45.8% of residents within the Kirkland territory having reported English as their mother tongue. Considering that, consequently, on the expiry of the 120 days after receipt of the notice sent by the office, the recognition obtained by the town of Kirkland will be withdrawn by the sole operation of law unless the municipality adopts a resolution confirming its willingness to retain its recognition before the expiring of the 120-day period. Considering that there is a cause for Kirkland Town Council to confirm the town's willingness to retain its bilingual status, recognized for more than 40 years. Now we're losing it. Now we have to go on our knees. That's not in there, but that's my impression. We have to go in front, on our knees in the government to act a fundamental or to retain a fundamental right. I continue. Considering Resolution CM 21-126 adopted in this respect by the Kirkland Town Council on June 7, 2021, it is proposed to confirm, in accordance with provision of Article 29.2 of the Charter of the French Language, and following the receipt by the municipality of a written notice dated December 12, 2022 from the Office Québécoise de la langue française, the town of Kirkland's willingness to retain its bilingual status recognized under the Charter for more than 40 years. To confirm that the member of council are unanimous in their commitment to do everything in their power to preserve the harmonious coexistence of the French and English language within the Kirkland territory. So to ensure the town of Kirkland continue to provide all of its service to the public in both French and English. In their desire for the town of Kirkland to continue to stand as a proud city where bilingualism is the first language. In their aspiration to ensure that bilingualism continues to form an integral part of our everyday life of the Kirkland community, and in their conviction that the French and English language will continue to coexist in harmony in Kirkland as they have for several decades, even before the incorporation of the municipality of 1961. We will be forwarding this resolution to l'Office de Québec de la langue française, probably one copy also to Premier Legault. I need a proposer.
Chairman proposed John Morrison.
And second by?
We'll second that, Paul before.
And we have to do this every 4 years, by the way.
Aucune résolution d'appui n'est traitée séance tenante. The Municipal Council takes note of the tabling of the correspondence for the month of December 2022 by the town clerk. Il n'y a aucune affaire nouvelle qui est traitée séance dedans. Ce qui nous amène à la période de questions du public. Donc, laissez-moi, s'il vous plaît, lire et vous pouvez approcher le micro par la suite. La période de questions est maintenant ouverte. Tout membre du public qui désire s'adresser au conseil municipal est prié de faire la file derrière le micro et de respecter la distanciation physique. Lorsque le droit de parole vous est accordé, veuillez ne pas toucher le micro, énoncer vos noms et adresses et formuler votre question de manière claire et concise en vous adressant au maire dans un langage respectueux. Chaque intervention est limitée à 2 questions. Il vous sera possible de poser des questions supplémentaires lorsque tous les membres du public qui désirent s'adresser au conseil auront eu l'occasion de le faire. Public question period is now open. Members of the audience who wish to address the municipal council are requested to line up behind the microphone and to respect physical distancing. When given the floor, please refrain from touching the microphone, state your name and address, and direct your question to the mayor in a clear and concise manner using respectful language. Each intervention is limited to 2 questions. You will be able to ask additional questions once all members of the audience who wish to address the council have had a chance to do so.
Good evening, Ken Lyons, 18 Rondo. Excuse me. My best wishes for this year to come as well. And I have very favorable comment. Je suis très heureux que le statut de la bilinguisme de la ville is being maintained.
Merci.
And the other thing is, I have a question I need clarified. The site planning and architectural integration approval. Help me understand why the approval for a project, specifically 9.1, is being done today when the project is all done. That was built all last summer.
I'll let the co-president of the urban planning either Steve or Luciano to reply. Which point in particular?
9.1.
9.1, 66 Rondo. As I said, the house is finished. I actually went by it today, and I saw that construction work go all through the summer if it didn't start soon. I would have expected the site planning be approved before any of that happened.
Yeah, okay. It's wrong.
I'm trying to remember, because we've had a couple of these very similar situations where some of the work has either been started and we've stopped it, having them come to see us. There's one in particular, I think it's Ronco Street, where they had a major issue with the elevations between their building and the neighboring property. So we stopped the works. There was another situation where they came for an approval from a particular brick, and then they changed the brick during construction. We stopped construction again, and they had to come back for a new approval. So there may be, I think, that type of situation on 66 Rondo.
That doesn't explain why the work, a site plan was not approved even before it started.
Well, if they don't bring the site plan to our committee, we're not going to be able to approve it, right? So all we can do is stop the work and then have them present something afterwards, and we try to work with them as long as it meets with the CCU.
Yeah.
The thing I don't understand is that anybody, before they want to make a change to the building, you got to get a permit.
Yeah.
And that's step one. And shouldn't that come out and under, let's say, hey, you need a site plan as well? Sorry, I don't want to part of an argument. I just want to make sure
it's not an argument. What you're saying is the process that works 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
And sometimes it doesn't. You find out that someone starts doing work without a permit.
Exactly.
That happens as well. And so all we can do at that time is stop the work, which is what we do on a regular basis when that happens, and then ask them to go through the process so the project is stalled until they get the approval, and then they get the approval and we continue with the project.
Well, now the job seems to be finished.
Yeah, I realize that.
Ken, in this particular case too, there's also the fact that we don't want to cause the resident, if it's an error, it's not a malicious error, he didn't do it on purpose, if for some reason the contractor didn't follow the type of brick that he was supposed to put in, etc., we don't want to stall him for another month or over the Christmas holidays to where, so what happens is like Luciano says, we have to stop it, and then we have to redo it, and then we have to present it again. So that's all it is. So we let them go ahead with it. So it might have been completed, like you say, but officially we couldn't present it for another month. So that's why it gets presented after the building looks to you like it's completed.
It's all fine. It seems to me the procedure is lacking one big thing. When a person comes for a permit, he has to say what he wants to do. And when that should have been very obvious that he's going to extend the building, and then, hey, you need a site approval.
That's the ideal
That didn't
situation.
happen.
Exactly.
But that's the way it works. But what do you do, Ken, if they don't come for a permit?
We got inspectors.
No, put yourself in the shoes of the inspector. They start work without a permit. What's the only recourse you have? You stop the work.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
Next question.
Hey. Unfortunately, I must say that Mr. Mayor and Mr. Councillor John Morrison, I'm very disappointed in you nixing the video casting that was voted down tonight.
Okay.
Because I, for one, especially tonight, would have stayed home to watch it because I'm finding it tougher and tougher to get here. And as you know, I like to be part of what's going on in council meetings. I've been doing it for over 20 years, nearly every one.
Perfect.
So, as I said, I'm quite disappointed in you. And John, I remember you making a statement, you said you checked with people, you never asked me. And I already had told you I'm not interested in not having it. I need it. Anyhow, thank you very much.
Ken, if I may, just to be clear on the video conferencing, it would be the same thing as the audio. It would not be live, okay? It would be presented the next day.
The following day.
And the reason for that is there's legalities involved as far as certain hate speech and stuff like that that could be pronounced. So we have to take a certain delay to make sure that anything like that gets
I would have accepted that as a 4-second.
Okay.
No, that's right. That's what I'm accepting.
Okay, next question.
Good evening, everybody. I'm really happy that at least 50 of you came out this time, and I would really appreciate it if more people come. So I don't know who
I
organized that.
believe it's for the Monsedel.
Wonderful.
It's
Have
for
more
this.
people, Karen, eh? Because at least 50 every time.
It's for the St. Patty project.
Okay, I want to say who I am. First of all, Pigeon, ran for mayor last year. 16876 minus. I didn't win because I'm a new arrival of Kirkland. So archives, any archives, please. Mr. Mayor, that's for the archives. That's my question in links.
No, your question, yeah, just ask your question.
No, I want to deposit this with the
We
archives.
got it.
No, I've changed it. I always change my question because I work on it 24 hours a day.
Bring it up, Mr.
Thank you very
Bring it
much.
up, bring it up.
I mean, this is a lifetime project for me. Okay? I love you.
Yeah, we love you. We love you.
Hey, Steve, you know that. Thank you. And there's wonderful new ones. I keep working on this 24/7. Hey, I would like to see this every month, please. It's wonderful.
Okay,
What's the Americans?
Mr. Pigeon, what's your question?
Okay, let's get back to work here. I fully support that. You know, the CAC should never pass that Bill 96. It's just a political, again, e-power, you know. Okay. So, what else do I want to say? Okay.
Can you ask your question here?
Well, I need to say something about how disappointed I am.
No, but you have a question here.
Yeah, that's coming. I need to just introduce my questions. And also, I am very unhappy about the government also, okay?
About what?
About the Bill 96 and
Okay,
this
yeah.
BS business. This is going to be really the preamble, because you know, I went around all summer. I met over maybe 460 people, and 90% of your voters are going to be disappointed about what you passed tonight, because they all wanted to sign a petition. I had no trouble, and I won't have any trouble this year also. So I just want to say how disappointed they're going to be. You know, these dinosaurs that are still on the council, they don't want anything to change. Like I said on the Global News report that they made.
Well, you'll have to be respectful, okay? Please.
Can I say what's on my
Just ask your question. Just ask your question, Mr. Pichon. I got your answer here.
Because this concerns how you voted tonight. Because the dinosaurs did it again. Like I said on Global News, okay?
Okay.
They don't want
Finish.
to change.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask my question.
It's finished.
I'm going to ask my question.
Now, you didn't respect me. I don't want to hear you. I'm sorry.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
First of all,
I'm sorry, Mr. Pichon. Enough is enough.
Undemocratic.
Enough is enough.
There was no public
Finish next,
consultation or
please.
anything, you know?
Next.
Well, you'll
Next.
have me back next week, next month.
I was waiting to ask you. Why didn't you ask your question?
Well, I'd like to. Can I ask my question?
No, I don't want any preamble.
I'll be polite.
Just ask your question.
Okay, I will. Okay, like I said, I'm not allowed to prepare my question at all.
I know. We got it here. You sent it to us.
Yes, would you please?
Just ask the question.
Okay,
Just
well,
ask the
I have to say a few things. This concerns the climate, okay? Climate
We
crisis.
know.
No, but I didn't. I added something. 3 years after Greta Thunberg's rousing speech downtown in front of 500,000 people, we're still being pushed off the cliff like slaves of a broken system into extinction, self-extinction. So I noticed 3 things that I really am unhappy about. And number one, what we are, what you are, and what we expect from you. First of all, number one, we're not slaves. That's what's on my email to you. You are, number two, you are not our lords and masters, whether you think so or not, but are well-paid employees, okay? I don't know if you contest that. Number 3, we expect real protection and security from you. We got a little bit of this tonight when we talked about having bilingual rights. We expect that from you because we can no longer expect it from our compromised CAC government and upper levels that are setting us on a path to self-extinction. Now my question, okay? I've changed that a little bit too. What is your perception about those, what I just said, of what we are? I'm talking about what the people here are, what the Kirkland residents are, what you are, and what we can expect from you in the future.
Okay, and here's my response. Based on your question, do you have the wrong perception of what we are? No. Well, but I'm telling you, I'm responding to your question. Then you ask what you are and what we expect from you. It's no and no.
No,
c'est pas que tu peux répondre à ça.
Oh no?
C'est non et non.
You don't have any imagination? No, that's not an answer. No. Come on, you're more intelligent.
It's based on your question, and I just replied. If you want to...
Well, that's not an answer. That's like a basic.
Okay, then I'm sorry, that's my answer.
You're evading
No et no.
You're undemocratic again. Every time I say something, it's undemocratic.
Oh là là.
Anyway,
On n'est pas sorti.
thank you very much. You're very patient. It's not easy to come up here.
Merci, M. Pigeon. OK, prochaine question.
It's a lot of an old man, you know.
Maria Deshona, Morley Hill. I think I got a little bit of clarification by Mr. Lyons here when he mentioned the council voting for the video, but something flew over my foot because Mr. Bouchard referred to 5.7.
It's an article where it's mentioned that the actual meetings are recorded, and the following day they're put online by the municipality. And what Mr. Bouchard was saying is that basically they wanted to have the 3 councillors also in that 5.7 article of the complete bylaw the fact that they would like to see video and recording, and also that it would be available the following day, like it's already in the bylaw. That's all.
So we're not against the bylaw in its
They're not
entirety,
against the
we're
bylaw.
only against
Just
5.7
that point.
of the bylaw.
To see our face, you know, and to also be recorded.
Okay, well, was there any discussion about?
We did discuss that. And that's why we moved.
Was there a discussion concerning the timing as opposed to the delay to be shown the next day?
Yeah, but everybody's in agreement with that. It's delayed, it's recorded, for now recorded, like we're all recorded, and it will be on our website the following day.
Yes, but was there a discussion to have it time-wise, like actually live?
Oh yeah, but the council agreed, no, not to have it live, but deferred until the following day.
Okay, I'd like to make a comment about
Yeah, go ahead.
sidewalks,
Sidewalk where exactly?
Cherise and Marie.
Okay,
The best that I've ever seen since I moved in Kirkland.
thank you very much.
Now, I'd like to make sure that my analysis is correct. It seems to me as if there was some sort of a machine, a tractor, whatever, that took the snow and removed it from between the sidewalk and the road, in other words, in the median. Is that correct?
Yeah, but yes, they bring it so to be loaded. Go ahead.
So for the past 3 years, Marina, we've been trying to remove the snow that creates the tunnel effect, if you want, on the sidewalk. So that's what we're doing from lamppost to lamppost. They're removing that snow as well.
It's the first time that I know that.
It's about 3 years we're doing that. It's made the situation better. Because you're not having that kind of like a sidewalk in between two snowbanks that melt. So it's been working better. And they're also paying a lot more. Like we're using different products. We're spending
working
on that
better
sidewalk.
So I'd like to make that suggestion again, keep improving it, and if the people driving the tractors can sort of move it and make it go more towards the median so that it can be picked up instead of just falling behind. Okay?
Thank you. Okay, thank you, Marina.
Good evening, everyone. Lucy Adams, 4 Ewell Street. Concerning the bilingual thing.
Yes.
Concerning having passed resolutions, passing resolutions, and going to pass resolutions, is it the opinion of the Kirkland Town Council that all 47 towns will pass their resolutions?
It's up to the town, but what I heard out of the 47 that were losing their status, there's at least 30 for sure that will be passing bylaws. Some are very small, and they act by history because of the 77 arrangement, Charter of Rights, that some municipality where they were disproportionate, they had probably 20% English versus, and they still kept the service or the bilingual status, and it will be up to those small municipalities to decide that are probably in that group of 17 leftovers. But I hope that everybody gets on board, that's for sure.
So you're saying that you think that a majority of these 47 towns will pass their resolutions, and that these resolutions will be looked at seriously once they get to where they're going?
Yeah, no, and it's an opinion, but we'll see in the following weeks, you know.
So my other thing is, I kind of jumped off my seat when I read last Wednesday's Suburban regarding this in the Kirkland paragraph, when it speaks about the, right in the middle of the paragraph, it says that the Act provides that recognition may be maintained if the municipality adopts before the expiry, blah, blah, blah. Now, why have we got recognition may be maintained as opposed to recognition will be maintained? And I don't really want to be boomeranged with semantics.
I don't know who wrote the article.
Yeah, well, it's disturbing. It, you know.
But it's No.
If a resolution is passed by a municipality, then why would the provincial government then say, maybe you will and maybe you won't get it?
Once the resolution based on the article of law, once the resolution, we had 120 days to pass that resolution. Once they receive it, our right will be maintained.
Okay, will be. It's not maybe. It will be.
Maybe.
Okay, good. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Hi. My name is Fayez Gindi. I live in 18120 Shemaisai Paris.
Okay.
I was wondering how the decision was made to make Shemaisai Paris westbound from Montrose all the way to the 40 one-way out without even consulting people living in that area.
Yeah, but as you know, we had.
I certainly didn't get any question or anybody asked me to.
No, we did send letters to everybody to. No, Ben, listen. Okay, we don't want argument. I'll tell you exactly what happened and where we're going with all of this. Okay, first of all, we had some information session where everybody did receive a letter. We had two information session, 2 days. There was
1 day, December 14th.
Oh wait, December 14th. There was one from 2 to 4:30, if I'm not mistaken, and there was one in the late afternoon, 5:30, 8 to 8 p.m., where we had our personnel with the boards and all that explaining the project that we're intending to do. But we had positive and negative comments. And the only thing I can tell you at this present time, I know there's some issues such as the time required, to go, since the St. Marie will be closed at one end, the time required, to go to Montrose and then go back on St. Marie. There was a bus concern. I saw some emails. I saw that there's a petition also. And there was the bus factor, the circulation or the blockage at St. Marie and Montrose. So we were taking all these comments, the petition, all the comments that came from the floor and some of the residents that are here today. And keep in mind, we have these presentations before Christmas, and it was a Christmas holiday. And now they've got our administration that were part of that project will be basically analyzing all of this issue. I know it's not everybody that's in agreement. There's some positive and negative. But what I'm saying, we'll have a presentation shortly to council by our administration, and once we see the possibility or can we do certain change to satisfy everybody that's here. But I'm not promising nothing tonight. What I'm saying, let the administration present to us, first of all, your finding and your comments. All of you have comments. So from there, we'll then we'll be presenting to our residents exactly our position on it. But for the moment, I know there's some disgruntled resident, and it's understandable. Every project will bring some negative and positive feedback. But for now, I'm just saying, give us the chance to look at what our administration will be presenting to us, and we'll come back to every one of you and explain exactly what we'll do. But there's no decision to be taken tonight.
I'm not expecting any decision.
Okay, perfect. But at least you're expecting us to have an open mind to your comments.
Of course,
right?
That's number one.
Okay, perfect.
Number two, also the fact that it was now on December 14th, and he said there were letters sent to everybody. I certainly didn't receive any letters. Not in my mailbox, not in the front of my door, nothing. So I'm confirming I didn't receive anything. Maybe others did.
Yeah, but
I did not.
We didn't try to exclude what you're saying. We didn't try to exclude any resident. That's for sure.
And if it was mentioned in the newsletter or something on the email circulation, at least,
yeah,
I think that the choosing of December 14th
is
a little bit. How do I put it nicely and also respectfully? Thank you. It's really close. Excuse me.
Excuse me.
It's really close to the holidays, Now, can you let me finish?
Just finish what people like.
I am. So far, I am polite. I'm sorry.
We don't try to. Okay, go ahead.
Maybe you don't like my way, but I'm still polite.
No, it's not. I don't like
It's
your way.
totally different.
But we're not sneaky. Go ahead.
So, when it's too close to the holiday times, a lot of people either go away or they're really busy with families and.
Yeah.
I'm wondering how many people actually came to that meeting on December 14th?
30 households. Yeah.
30 households.
Yeah.
And how many households are affected by this?
And some didn't receive the letter here, but I spoke to a couple of residents. They did receive they couldn't show up.
So,
and I won't analyze who got the letter or not because we're not trying to hide nothing. We presented the project. We got your comments, negative and positive, and that's what I'm saying. Where it stands at this present time, our administration will do a presentation, and there will be a final decision on it. And you'll all be advised.
Based on you again, without involving us, right?
But
so
it's just already involved. We present you the project. You understand?
Yeah, you present us the fact that there is a project.
No, it's a project that's there, but then you emitted or you told us of your insatisfaction, but some residents said that they were happy. So let us analyze what everybody said. I know we had a beautiful...
Excusez-moi là, monsieur, y avait-il un sondage au moins qui
a... Il n'y a pas de sondage.
Qui peut être fait avant de prendre une décision de faire un projet...
Non, mais c'est sûr que je vous dis, lorsqu'on va avoir la présentation de l'administration, on va vous le présenter à tous qui sont ici.
OK, alors ça sera présenté sans prise de décision que ça va être fait.
Bon, mais on va vous présenter ce qu'on est d'accord avec, mais je ne peux pas dire rien d'autre. Je ne sais pas ce qu'ils ont à présenter.
Non, excusez-moi. Alors, vous allez nous présenter ce que vous êtes mis d'accord là-dessus.
Oui.
Mais ça ne veut pas dire qu'on a le choix d'approuver ou non à ce projet-là, n'est-ce pas? Ça veut dire que c'est votre choix quand même.
On va vous présenter, vous allez voir vos commentaires.
Oui, vous allez juste voir nos commentaires et c'est tout. Alors, on n'est pas inclus dans cette décision, peu importe comment.
Ben, c'est sûr, la décision, on va te la présenter, ce qu'on pense qui est bon pour la municipalité. Et puis, à ce moment-là, vous allez nous dire s'il y a encore des gens qui ne sont pas d'accord.
You give me the perfect answer. So, to resume what you just said, you will discuss all this, you will present us with your discussion, and you will present us your final decision to take the project further or not, whether or not anybody likes it or not.
They don't care.
We're not even there. Why don't you wait until we get at least the presentation from our administration? That's the first step.
Well, the first step I think was
you want me to tell you it's a yes or no? No, I cannot answer you on that.
Okay, there is something called social media, emails, everything. Everybody receives those, right?
Yeah.
And if somebody opens the email, it simply can send back a red report. It's very doable on our end, right?
Okay, on the way of reporting, okay.
So, exactly. So, all this is very doable, and I think that we're in the era of technology, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
It's way better than letters maybe getting lost or not even delivered. And as you just said, you cannot really prove it, and we're not going to debate it. I'm not going to debate this issue. But there are other ways to do it that are much more effective, and you can actually prove to the people, I'm one of them, if I'm not mistaken, that, sir, the emails were sent to everybody with transparency, and here's the report that everybody that
still doubting. Okay, sir, you've got another question? We'll let the other residents also answer.
Sure.
Okay.
But thank you for giving me the perfect answer.
Thank you. Thank you.
Chris Morel, 159 Gérard-Guérin. Monsieur le maire, au conseil, j'ai besoin d'une guidance. Nous avons un problème dans notre coin. De un, c'est la sortie 44, là, direction de Saint-Marie, dans la desserte sud. Nous avons un problème avec la vitesse et des gens qui sortent sur cette route-là.
Sur la voie de service?
Pardon?
Ah, ok, oui, ok.
Qui sort de Gérard-Guérin, là, direction vers l'est. Ça, c'est le premier point de savoir comment l'adresser. Est-ce que c'est municipal? C'est quoi exactement on s'adresse à ce niveau-là, ce problème-là?
Oui, c'est les deux, mais on peut toujours impliquer la station 1 pour faire la surveillance à cet endroit-là en particulier.
D'accord, c'est quelque chose que David peut aussi...
mais pas avec le patrouilleur, ils ne font pas de contrôle de circulation de vitesse, mais c'est surtout le SPVM, la station 1 ici. Mon jeu,
il y a la question de la surveillance de la police qui peut toujours freiner un tout petit peu. Mais...
Non, on a une très bonne collaboration avec la station 1 ici. Ça fonctionne très, très bien.
Je le vois des fois, c'est rare, par exemple, mais c'est vraiment très dangereux parce que moi, je suis à 100 pieds de la sortie, quand je trouve à Gérard-Guéton. Je m'assois de ralentir à 50 km à l'heure, et je vois les gens là, qui essaient de me pousser, qui peuvent passer à côté, là, presque me rentrent dedans.
C'est vrai que les gens viennent quand même assez rapidement de cet endroit-là, mais normalement, on a une très bonne collaboration avec la station. On a un policier qui siège sur le comité des Public Security and Traffic and Public Security. On a un policier de la station 1 qui est présent dans toutes les rencontres, mais l'hiver, il ne siège pas. Mais votre commentaire est bien pris. On va en parler directement avec le commandant de la station.
Il y a un deuxième point qui est peut-être un peu plus complexe. Là. Il y a moyen de l'overpass qui vient là, de Cineplex et qui passe à Saint-Marie-Sud.
Oui.
C'est quelque chose qu'ils ont fait à la ville de Longueuil, où il y a une partie de cette route, de cette desserte sud de l'autoroute, qui devient deux sens. Alors, il y a moyen de présenter là, un projet où les gens qui sortent là et ils font le tour là, du overpass, qui peuvent aussi, dans cette partie-là, revenir sur Gérard-Guéton pour aller à Gérard-Guéton. Je veux dire, il y a moyen de le faire au niveau routier, ça s'est déjà fait. Je me demande si c'est quelque chose un projet qu'on peut présenter à qui vraiment là. Parce qu'il y a deux, trois personnes
pour faire le viaduc, c'est une propriété du ministère des Transports.
C'est ça.
Et puis, il faut contacter le ministère des Transports pour pouvoir faire quoi que ce soit sur n'importe quel viaduc. Mais pour le moment, parce que c'est l'accès, tu parles de l'accès à Gérard-Guéton, c'est ça.
Exactement, parce que l'idée est survenue du moment où il y avait des travaux.
Oui.
Et ensuite, là, la police, elle avait bloqué. On ne pouvait pas sortir à Gérard-Guéton. Il fallait prendre l'overpass, revenir, et ensuite revenir pour aller à Gérard-Guéton. Il y avait une police là-bas, il y avait deux polices, une qui freinait un tout petit peu le trafic. On faisait un stop. Et ensuite, le deuxième policier, il nous ramenait avec ses lumières pour aller chez nous, sinon il n'y avait pas de moyen d'aller chez nous.
Mais pour la surveillance policière, on n'aurait pas de problème avec ça. Mais le problème ou la situation de faire un viaduc two-way, ça c'est...
Par exemple, regardez, on est un groupe de personnes, quand même, il y a des avocats, il y a des personnes qui calculent tout ça. On veut juste le présenter à quelqu'un. Alors, c'est quelque chose qui doit se présenter au niveau du ministère ou...
Mais non, c'est qu'à un moment donné, il y avait une solution, c'est une solution à long terme. Déjà, c'est concernant le viaduc qui va être refait à un moment donné. Si je ne me trompe pas.
Oui, mais parce que je me rappelle de ça.
Oui.
On sort de direction Est.
Oui.
On avait la possibilité de rentrer dans le chose, mais il y avait quelqu'un qui a acheté la propriété avant qu'on était capable de faire ça.
Oui.
On n'entend pas derrière.
Microphone.
OK. Non, c'est tout simplement où il y avait déjà un terrain qui était visé, mais à un moment donné, qui allait à l'arrière. Mais pour le moment, on peut regarder, mais il n'y a rien qu'on peut y faire en tant que tel. Joe, as-tu quelque chose à apporter?
Je pense que la question, c'est plus d'avoir la voie de service en deux directions.
C'est ça.
Quand vous avez mentionné tantôt que la police était présente, c'est parce que c'est vraiment temporaire. Il n'y a pas de voie de service dans notre coin ici, qu'on peut faire en deux sens. Mais si vous voulez présenter quelque chose, on va le savoir, puis on va regarder pour voir s'il y a une possibilité ou quoi. Mais définitivement, les contacts du ministère des Transports, Je veux juste pas mettre trop on va le regarder dans le sens qu'on va le présenter, mais je suis pas sûr que vous avez été intéressé à regarder un voie de service sur deux voies, mais ça ne donne rien dans le présenter.
Regardez, on va préparer le dossier, c'est pas pour demain, hein. Et puis on va le présenter à quelqu'un qui se à Karen, et puis peut-être le réacheminer pour voir où est-ce qu'on peut la ramener.
Exactement.
On va faire tous les calculs et tout ça, le faire d'une façon sérieuse, mais c'est faisable en tout cas. Merci beaucoup.
Merci, Louis. Prochaine question.
Hi there, everybody. My name is Razum Sarhania, 29 Central Bus.
Yes.
I would like to talk about the presentation on 14th. That
Yeah.
I had a few problems with that. Other than just a vague message to people, just come to the presentation. We're going to tell you what it's about.
Yeah.
And it wasn't published anywhere other than a door hanger that people just.
Oh, there were door.
Yes, that's the thing that it was. So
yeah.
It was not published anywhere. It was not announced anywhere. And just
no, it was a door hanger to invite you to come in.
Yes, I understand
okay.
that, but there are other ways of inviting, and you could have actually included some more information for people to understand what it's about, other than it's affecting you.
Okay.
Okay, so that's one problem I had. Second is when the presentation happened and I managed to come.
Okay, good.
It was presented as a done deal, and no matter what kind of feedback you have, it is not deal, it's your opinion, sir. That's all I got.
Okay.
Okay. Now, having said all this, considering what kind of a major effect it has on the area, considering we are losing a bus service, considering we are losing a direct access to our houses, that people have to go around on a bottleneck traffic that's going to cause that our emergency services has to go through if they want to get to us, if they're coming from the east, from the west side. Where does this mandate come from, sir?
It's from council. We asked the administration to look at it.
So it's a Kirkland mandate?
It's a Kirkland management that came up with a plan that we asked for it because of the REM station. Everything is because of the REM station that's being built on the other side. To make that area more safe for bicycle, pedestrian, and all that. And to convert that overpass, in a car, pedestrian, and bicycle safe environment. And that came out of that, and that's where we asked the administration to look at it, and they came up with this project that we presented to you. And we know there's some negative and positive that came out of it, and that's why we're saying we'll look at it, and we'll have a present. We didn't see the presentation or the final comments. I saw the comments myself, and so what we're saying, give us time, and we'll come back and tell you exactly what it's all about, and are we doing modification, going one way, no one way? We don't know yet.
So here's my problem with this. Okay, so you are saying you're going to look into it now.
No, we're waiting for the presentation from our administration,
okay,
where all the comments that was received by email, by petition, by phone calls, will be presented, has already been presented to our administration. Give us the time to see what they basically discover or what they want to modify. And for now,
okay, let me put the question this way. Let's say it's my second question. What efforts have you made to get a feedback from people living in the residence in that area?
We got all the feedbacks. We got emails.
How did you get it? Because you did a presentation, and I asked, where is the feedback box? There's no feedback box.
By the feedback.
Feedback is a verbal thing for you guys?
No, it's not a verbal thing.
Okay, so how did you collect this feedback? I'm trying to understand this.
Man, we've got an email here from Rams.
That is me.
Oh, okay.
All right. That was, and that's
we read it.
Yes, that is the first of many emails you got. I'm trying to understand the presentation. How did you collect your feedback? Because you were saying that you had feedback on the presentation. Yeah. How did you collect that feedback?
Hey, that's our feedback.
That's after the presentation, sir.
Yeah.
I'm talking about this presentation.
We got some feedback also that will be presented to us by our administration that were here presenting you the program or the project. 1 minute. No, that's it. No.
I'm sorry.
Okay, Karen.
Hi, it's Karen. I'd like to just answer your question. from my point of view. If you're asking on how the information was brought to the administration, many citizens have reached out to me in many different ways. They've called me. I've known them for many years. They've sent me texts. They've sent me emails. They've sent me messengers. They've reached out to me on social media. So basically, I've received an enormous amount of feedback, and every single email, every single text, any kind of information I've received from any citizens, whether it be good or bad, has been sent to the administration.
Exactly.
And they have everything, and I also have everything. So I'm making sure that every single citizen here is represented, and that their voices are heard, and that the administration is aware of every opinion. That is my priority, and they are very, very well aware of it.
That is good to know. But my question for Mr. Gibson is, thank you by the way, my question for Mr. Gibson is, you just mentioned yourself that there were feedbacks. So in the presentation, and not after the presentation, sir. During the presentation, you said there were feedbacks. So I'm trying to understand how you
feedback to the people that were there. We took notes. The engineers that were here, our director of town planning, all the comments. At one point, there was
that's fine. That's fine. So here's what I kind of want to say. Please do your due diligence to reach the people living in the area, because this is a vital thing for us. It's really changing. We are losing services, access, and everything for a bike path that itself is not safe because it's zigzagging in front of traffic.
Okay.
So you're gonna find out in a second what the feedbacks we're talking about, because we, from citizens, we have our own feedback to give you.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Patrick Trudeau, 11 Kirkland Boulevard. I've been in Kirkland for, almost 48 years. Can you hear me properly?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I've been in Kirkland for almost 48 years. My mom and a lot of the people I grew up with are still on St. Tropez. And we are talking about, the subject is, again, the Chemin Saint-Marie project. Regardless of what happened on December 14th, regardless of what has happened since then, what I'm hearing tonight is that it isn't over, and there's nothing set in stone, and that you are actually taking the time to evaluate the project.
Exactly.
And I really do appreciate that. Okay. There are a few things that we are concerned about. That you say that you have everything. You may or may not. Okay. I wanted to bring up a few of those issues, and then ask a few questions afterwards regarding that. One of the biggest concerns that I've heard and that I have is the length of time it's going to take for emergency services to reach St. Tropez, Agincourt, Mont-Saint-Del, Grey-Chance.
We have that comment. Yeah.
Okay. I think that it would be very important for the town to actually contact emergency services and see what kind of input they have on it. Another concern, as Raz pointed out, was the bike path zigzagging across traffic. I agree with him on that. But it's not just that. It's if you make it one way and all the traffic that's coming from, say, St. Andrew, Bellevue, John Abbott, and they're coming eastbound, it's not only the cars that are trying to make their way to St. Tropez, Agincourt, Mont-Saint-Del, and Grey-Chance. It's also those that are going to the north side of the 40, towards Timberley, towards Burn, and all those streets.
Yeah, you're right.
So all the cars that are coming that way, they are all going to be going up to Montrose, coming down Chemin Saint-Marie, and at that Bassett Spears Park there, right at Chemin Saint-Marie, it's going to be a lineup of cars, and I don't know how that's going to.
Yeah, the bottleneck will be addressed also.
Okay, there will be a huge bottleneck. Also, making it unsafe for pedestrians and cyclists who are going to be, going to the REM across the highway. I don't know. It's December 16th today. It's January 16th today, And honestly, I didn't see anybody riding bikes today. If you think about No, I know, but if you think about how many cyclists there are, I can drive down there 5 times a day and not see any cyclists at all. I know that we're trying to promote that and trying to have people, try to help the environment, riding their bikes instead of driving cars and stuff. You're not going to see a family of 6 riding their bikes across to get on the REM to go downtown. It doesn't make sense. You know? But you're right. So when you're looking at all the different things that this is going to affect, in my opinion, principally it's the length of time it takes for emergency services to get there. To me, that's huge. 2 minutes, even if you say it's 1 minute, I was speaking to emergency services, they say, well, it's 2 minutes. If it's 2 minutes, that's the difference between somebody living and somebody dying. Okay? And that to me is much more important than say, okay, Madame Plante, we'll take your money, we'll use it for this, or whatever it is. I don't know about that. I don't pretend to understand that. Okay? My question is, what would it take in order to prevent this project from happening in that, let me go back 2 steps. When you look at when Chemin Saint-Marie was converted to being a one-way from Mountain View to Montrose, there were a lot of people that were up in arms about it, and whatever happened then. But maybe they stopped at Montrose, maybe they had a reason to stop there.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you.
Okay, nobody can here today, but it's something to consider. Okay, so if something's not broken, why fix it? First of all, okay. But what would it take to prevent this project from happening in the first place? And the second question I have is, if we are still evaluating that project, is there any chance that you, as our councillors and our mini government here in Kirkland, would be willing to accept 1 or 2 individuals who are directly affected by that traffic to take part in your evaluation and to have these open discussions with you during your evaluation process? Mm-hmm. Yes.
Very good suggestion, but the only thing I will say and repeat myself, yes, we'll have a presentation of all your comments, like what you brought up, what some of them were already known, the bottleneck, but the emergency service is another, the bike path itself, the actual bus stop. So for now, it's just to let council, let us first of all sit down with the administration that will do a presentation on all of these comments, and bottom line, we'll probably make modification, but what are those modifications? I cannot promise nothing at this present time, but I understand your concern, and you've got a good group here to basically say, hey, we don't want this, so let us at least wait for the administration to tell us your comments that we already received, all the email that Karen received, we've got all copies of those. So give us the chance, and then we'll come up with a decision where we'll advise you in front of you, not in the back of you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That's what I was hoping to hear. But I'm also I would really push, if possible, to allow people who are, just pick 1 or 2. We could have a little mini council here, for Saint-Tropez, Agincourt, Mossadel. 1 or 2 people who might be able to sit with you when you're making the decisions and looking at it and saying, hey, what do we think here? We could have a bit of
it's a good suggestion, but we know already your feedback. It's that everybody that's here would like this project to go away completely. True?
Is that true? No.
We'll come back to you.
Thank you very much for this.
You're welcome. Next.
Richard Benjamal, 30780 Recent.
Hi, Richard.
The list of pros and cons that you are evaluating.
At this present time, there's more con than
what I was going to ask you is, where do we see them?
I'm sorry?
Sorry, I'm a little taller.
Yeah.
Where do we see the list of pros and cons?
It's all the emails that we receive, Okay,
well, maybe if you make
all copies. There's one that I read that was quite extensive, that covers basically every one of the comments that were made tonight. It was the one from Esme, was quite direct, talking about the 2 minutes to reach Saint-Tropez, the bottleneck traffic we already discussed, Also, the service of our bus. I don't know if he did talk about the emergency aspect, but it was mentioned, what I heard when we did the presentation. So we got all of them, and then Karen kept our Director General abreast of all the emails she received, and she received a lot.
Sorry, but of all the emails that she or you have received from the people who knew of the meeting of December 14th,
yeah,
there are more people here that
came to know for sure.
Just to finish that thought.
Yeah, but some of the people I met tonight that couldn't make it on that meeting. It happens, you know.
Or they didn't, or like me, we either didn't see it.
Yeah, but they knew it. They had a door knocker.
Sorry,
we're not
you can't say what
don't
we
start that
you
we're
can't. I did not know. I've been living at 3078 Dewey Soul.
And you didn't have any door
The
knocker.
goal, I'm assuming, of the council is to serve the community. To serve the greater good. Is that true?
Yeah.
Is that accurate?
So what you're saying, you didn't see the door knocker?
What I'm saying, I understand you feel the tension. You're being, there's a lot of questions about this. I get it, but if you could just dial it back. What I'm saying is, what I'm suggesting is, if the purpose is to serve the greater good of the community and its needs, maybe that's done by getting more information from the people and having that meeting to help each other decide what to do.
Exactly, you're right.
Okay, but you're saying that you're going to come back and make a decision, inform us of a decision.
Yeah, we'll present our decision to council, not to council, to our residents.
Well, how is that serving the community?
Why is it serving?
Well,
you don't want to be informed of our decision?
We want to.
Then that's what we do.
So you want to be part. This is your decision making.
Yeah.
It affects us, not you, sir.
We understand, but we already have all the objections that were basically, we got them. So let the administration present us all the objections, and what can we do to basically change certain things, or like I was saying, to adopt or not adopt the project. So we'll still have to listen to our administration, and we know all the negative out of it. So
how about listening to the citizens? How about listening to the citizens sometimes?
Yeah, we're listening.
Well, no, what you're doing is you're hearing us. You're hearing us. Yeah. But if it goes by democracy and majority rules or logic dictates, you're saying that you're making decisions based on information that you had on December 14th.
No, and for
since then, have you heard
all your emails?
Have you heard any new ideas today?
No, it's pretty.
You haven't heard any new ideas today.
But there was one that was discussed with Karen, the emergency service. Yeah.
Okay.
That was discussed.
Many
Many citizens have discussed that.
Yeah. Okay. No,
So if the majority of residents of Kirkland don't want this to go through, and you decide for
that's why we got a public presentation. But not presentation. You're able to express yourself. We're looking at the group here, and you're mostly against the project. So we'll take that into consideration also.
Take into consideration that the majority are against. If the majority are against, that should be
But
pretty
you
much
have to take it into consideration.
If the majority is against, then the majority is against. But regardless of the residents of Kirkland,
yeah, I know. There's, like my director was saying, there's some people that are for the project also. Yeah,
the majority of them. Fair enough.
Where are they? Where are they?
Good question. And is it the majority?
Yeah.
Is it the majority? If it's the majority of the room, I'll digress. If it's the majority that wants the project to go through, I'll back off.
Yeah, but that's
so
it.
the majority
But
don't
that's
seem
why
to.
I give us the time at least to have the presentation, like I told you.
That's fantastic. If you were to say that you were going to come back, if you were to say that you were going to then come back and present your findings,
exactly.
so they can be further discussed, as opposed to simply being imposed, you get a different reaction.
Perfect.
But what you're saying is that you're going to get together, decide what to do, and then you're going to come back and let us know, even if the majority don't want that.
Yeah, they know we'll take it.
Well, how is that democracy?
No, I told you. You don't listen. I told you that we'll take this into consideration.
Yeah. And then come back and let us know of your decision.
Exactly.
Even if the majority disagree.
But we don't
How
decide.
is that democracy?
We don't decide tonight. That's
You'll be deciding without finding out that the majority of the residents of Kirkland
We want your comments. Okay, next question, please.
How is that a thing?
Okay, next question. We understand.
No. If you're representing the city of Kirkland and the majority disagree, how do you then go about?
Man, we're not even there.
But you're saying that you're making a decision and then letting us know of it.
Yeah.
So if 75% don't want it, and you let us know that you do want it, then
let us. No, it's okay. Sit down, please. Next question. You make your point. We understand. Next question, please. No, you have to give the chance to the other residents also.
It's not about that. It's about you answering the question.
Okay. Your name,
My name is
please.
Charlie Locke. I live in Grace Shan.
Okay.
Sorry, I don't know how this thing works. Okay.
Can you repeat your name and your
My name is Charlie Locke. I live in 21 Grace Shan. Okay, and I've been in this area since the ice storm. I guess everybody knows. So it's many years ago. I live in this circle.
Okay.
I'm still living. So my suggestion is it possible that when you say you bring all those questions to the counseling and let them do the review and make decisions, can we as a residents be involved? So if that means we are in the 21st century or whatever, and the email and public sites are available. So why don't you post all the questions, emails, answers, suggestions, everything online? Because on December 14th, I received a pamphlet on my doorstep, on my front door, and I went into the viewing. Okay, most of the residents was feeling that it was just basically a done deal.
No, it's
no
not.
negotiation. Now you told me it's not. But how about going forward? Okay, I think it will make everybody happier to have this as a separate project on your Kirkland site and make it like a, I don't know, some kind of open book so everybody can read the suggestions, everybody see the progress of how this project is going forward and what kind of alternation they will do day to day. Anybody can go in and click and read them. Okay, instead of I receive all the emails, I receive all the calls, publish them, let everybody know. So that's my concern, because that makes everybody feel better to see that, you guys see our concern and you read our, suggestions, and if they ever come out with the decision, majority people will probably show up if that's not making them happy, right? So would that be a better, that's my question. Of course, I guess a lot of people already posed on the similar questions, but one of the gentlemen suggested me in Chinese, so I will basically make it the same, it's a question. I will probably say, just say it out loud. Okay, this is my second question.
Okay, second question.
Asking, would nobody or very little people riding a bicycle, and this project is supposed to be a green project, so you're making this bicycle path that half a year nobody uses, okay? And everybody living in the circle, over 200 households, to lose all the gas, time, and dirty the environment for no reasons. A very little cost, a very little payback, okay? So basically, we pay more to the damaging our environment than we are gaining. So this is the complaint.
Thank you very much.
Either Mr. Gibson and Council, Michelle.
Your name and address.
My name is Marco Nellaraca. I'm from 47 Montsedel.
Okay.
Lived there for 26 or 27 years. That's my wife, she would know. I'm here representing my whole family. I don't want to repeat a lot of stuff, and I know you're going to get a lot of the same questions. I'm one of those concerned neighbors that lives in that area. I think the lady said it. There's about 200, maybe 250 households that are Kirkland households in that area. I only found out about this because my good friend Richard, who I met for the first time, came knocking my door to give me an explanation. It would be nice if the councillor in the area would have gone around to the neighborhood and asked what the opinions are door by door. There's not that many doors. There's 200 doors, 250 doors. And I was happy to see him. I would love to have seen you, so that you would explain it. And it's understandable. Winter is maybe a tough time to do that. When I heard about what the project...
I'd like to answer you, is the fact that we did request the presence of all of our citizens to the session was a decision made by council to make sure that everyone had the opportunity to see it. So to me, that was reaching out to my citizens on a very individual basis. So yes, that's reaching out. I have no trouble meeting anybody. Let's say out of the 200 citizens, if I will go door to door, and after we receive, I think there's a petition or there was something, I won't even know exactly who signed it, and I will be going door to door. I can assure you of that.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
I was just going to say there's an expertise and a place to be able to explain these types of projects. And doing it one-on-one in front of every single door is not the way. There were traffic studies that were done. There were engineering studies that were done. There were urban planning studies that were done. And the results of those were shown to the people. So it was a better place for the explanation of the project to move forward.
Joe, the reality is door stoppers were put, but the truth is I hate to say it, a lot of us don't read them, and it's maybe our problem. But the truth is I don't read the public sacks anymore. I honestly don't think we should be getting that stuff anymore. But that's another discussion. That's another discussion.
That's
another discussion.
I think the issue is more we reached out. Whether you chose to read it or not, or come to the evening, was the choice that you made. So I'm hearing tonight that we're not being. I think the word I was hearing was trying to sneaky. There was no sneakiness in this. December 14th is 2 weeks before the holidays. It's not December 21st or December 22nd. So there's a responsibility that when the city delivers something to your home, that you do look at it. We don't do very much of it. When we do it should be a notification that maybe we should take a few minutes to read what was posted.
Thank you, Joe.
And I get that fact. And even if I think I did quickly read it, but it didn't really say too much. It didn't say that there was a potential closing of Chemin Marie. I tell you, if that was what I said, I would have read it and figured it out. I thank Richard for coming around. And then I did a really quick, a little survey of my neighborhood. My neighborhood is Montsedal. There's about 30 houses around that circle. I guarantee you there's about 75 before you've been trying that will come. My parents couldn't make it, but they were adamant. My parents live on the same street. I've got other neighbors here. I've got other neighbors that not everyone comes out to these meetings, and we're representing the neighborhood. Richard will have numbers of the survey, and I tell you, you don't have my comments because I just really learned about this. Don't worry, you're going to get so many emails and contacts now because this project. No, but not to you or to whatever. But this project has a lot of negative points that you're hearing there, and all we want is, at this point, it should, it would be nice if the council said, look, we're not going to pass it unless it's something that's approved that's acceptable.
In my case, I'm not speaking for council. I need at least that presentation for my administration to say no or yes. So you have to respect that also.
Anyways, that's it. I don't have any more questions than those.
And the representation tonight, it's excellent. And we know what you want. You don't, we know what you don't want.
Anyways, and Michelle, I appreciate the civilness. I mean, honestly, we shouldn't be yelling at everybody, and thank you for that, and thank you for representing us.
Thank you.
Bonsoir, Richard Saint-Cyr.
Just a moment. Just repeat your name.
Richard Saint-Cyr. Je représente ma mère, Madeleine Saint-Cyr, qui
intéresse encore.
57 Saint-Tropez.
Ah, 57.
J'ai une procuration pour la représenter.
Oui.
Je l'ai déposée. Je l'ai déposée à la ville de passée. Je l'ai pas déposé.
Non, il n'y a pas besoin. Tu peux t'exprimer.
Je veux juste vous dire, premièrement, mes sympathies, mes condoléances pour notre ancien maire, votre collègue, qui est décédé au mois de novembre.
Monsieur Mimi.
Mr. John, you were close to Mr. Mimi. You've been working with him for a long time, so my condolences. This brings a lot of emotion for me, okay? Because I came on December 14th, and when I asked, because there's studies that were done, and a lot of studies from what Joe, you're saying. When I mentioned the emergency vehicles, at that time, the engineers did not reflect on that. So that wasn't a concern. I lost my dad in our house, in our family home, and the ambulance was able to go through Chemin Sainte-Marie and get the heart going again, but he passed away.
Sorry to hear
that. 2 minutes was precious to at least get the heart going and for him to have a chance. Okay? My mom was in a coma. She required an ambulance not a few months ago. They saved her life because they went through Chemin Sainte-Marie. Thursday, this little girl, 1 year old, on Mont-Sadel, okay, was saved by the ambulance. Okay? And when we asked the paramedics, Raz and myself, they said that they came through St. Marie. If they have gone around, okay, maybe it would have been different circumstances. And so I know that you got a heart, and I know that you got the intelligence. So what I'm asking you is to please consider these two petitions. We'd like to deposit them. There's 1,000 names. What I would like to say is it was cold, there were snowstorms, we went through, we met 70% of the 232 houses, and I can tell you that 150 are against and 11 are for it.
Okay.
Okay, so that's 93%. And I would be glad with others to get everyone, because I know we can't have a referendum on this issue because it's not a bylaw change and all that. But with a petition, everybody, it's a democracy, and I'm sure hoping that you will consider a street that was open for 60 years remains open.
Merci pour ton travail.
I would just like to thank you for coming tonight and for doing your due diligence. It's very impressive. Thank you.
Thank you.
Again, it's me. I just want to say that we're
I'm sorry. Okay.
You need again. Okay.
Yeah.
29 Central.
Okay. Yeah.
So I just want to say I've been in Kirkland for 14 years. I'm very proud to be here, and I love the area. Okay. I just heard somebody mentioning about Montreal and money coming through there, and I don't get it. I mean, you said it's a Kirkland project. I just want to say for the record, if it's a Kirkland project and you're representing us, I just hope there's no external interference in this.
Nope.
And you watch our back, and you watch for us, and do what's best for the citizens in our area. That's very important.
You can count. Okay.
The other thing is that entrance in the Chemin Sainte-Marie and getting on the overpass to come and go, it's our lifeline.
Mm-hmm.
I already, if you're going through this project, the bus that my son's supposed to take to go to his high school next year, he cannot do it anymore. He has to walk all the way to the service road or walk all the way to Montrose to take it.
Yeah.
All right? That's already, we are losing that service. Please consider us as your citizens, look into the whole thing, and I know you're going to go and come back and present something, but I hope that presentation considers everybody's feedback that Richard actually handed to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your
Bonsoir, good evening. My name is Maria Kaludis, and I live in 23 Grace Chance. And I just want to bring a point that we talked about buses, but we haven't talked about school buses. The school buses are going to make a big impact when they stop and they put their stop signs out and the little kids have to go on and off the bus. That we have several of them on Grace Chance and Montsedel. So this is something that is going to cause a traffic jam if it's going to be one way. And my second thing is, you keep mentioning I should have come to the meeting on December 14th.
No.
Unfortunately, people work. People cannot always be there when you want us to be there.
Yeah.
So we are here today, and we're voicing our opinion that this project should not go through.
Perfect.
Okay? And we were there that this project would not go through.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hello, bonsoir. My name is Stratos Jr. I live in 23 Grace Chance in Kirkland. And I would like to start off by mentioning the fact that several imperative points have been intrinsically and explicitly addressed so far. Everybody's voices have been heard tonight.
Exactly, that's what we want.
In an explicit manner, and it is excellent that we have the platform to do this and that everybody has come here in union to voice their opinion regarding the Chemin Saint-Marie project.
Thank you.
An overwhelming majority of individuals, of the citizens that are represented here, do not find the project favorable. Within democratic institutions and in a democratic environment, it is the will of the people that guides the leading authorities, such as yourselves. And I do not have any questions to pose, but I will intrinsically state one comment that speaks for all of us here. I implore you, I advise you, we all implore you and advise you, please take this matter extremely seriously. Take everything we have said here into consideration. Please do your due diligence and make our voices heard. This is extremely important and imperative, and this is the beauty of democracy.
Thank you very much.
Marina Bishop Morley Hill. I've heard and I've been very keenly following some of the comments that have been made. I just want to make sure that my concerns can also be taken into account. As a cyclist, I've never felt safe since the REM work was started crossing to the north side of the city. So please keep that in mind as well from a cyclist point of view, that we want to have a safe means of getting to the north side. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Maria.
Hello again. I just want to really understand what two of your no's were, because if I understood you correctly, no, you are not our well-paid employee.
Oh, it's based on your question, eh?
No, the other one is...
it's based on your question.
Yeah, please. Yeah,
the question, do you... I'll repeat your question.
No, just answer
no, yeah, but...
okay.
For everybody here.
No
your question was, do you have the wrong perception of what we are?
You have the wrong... Look at what I just imposed.
Oh, it's a new one.
Of course, I said that's what I said. When I came up the first time.
Yeah. Okay, well, it's new. We'll get back to you in writing.
Okay.
Because I didn't know that you changed it today, probably.
Not much. I didn't change where you said no. I didn't change them.
Okay, perfect. But listen, we'll respond. We are not slaves.
Oh, that was okay. We are not slaves. Your no was
no, I'm not your Lord. Anyone else?
But no, you are not our well-paid employee.
No, I'm not.
You're not a well-paid employee?
No, I'm not.
What are you?
I'm not an employee, I'm an elected official. That's different.
In a way, we pay taxes and you receive a portion of those taxes, so you are being paid.
Okay. Next question.
Well, number
Can
3.
you ask your question there?
Yeah. Do you mean by number 3 that we are getting real protection and security from our compromised upper levels of government that are set us on the southern
Probably.
state?
That's your opinion.
You said no.
Yeah.
How can you say no when you know we're going towards south
okay.
extension?
Parfait, monsieur Pujol. J'ai fini de répondre. Je voudrais entendre les autres qui sont plus pertinents au projet de Sainte-Marie. Merci, monsieur Pujol.
L'extinction de la race humaine n'est pas importante pour vous, monsieur.
I'd like to hear comments from the people from Montsedel Saint-Tropez Agent Corps. Okay, go ahead. Your name, please, and your address.
He doesn't care.
Can you do what can you do?
I heard.
No, just repeat it because he was talking.
I'm so upset.
Alberto Martinez, 3057 Jubilee.
Martinez?
3057 Jubilee.
Okay.
I'm against the bike path, obviously.
Okay.
And I'm here to propose an alternative. What we should be doing is canceling the bicycle path on Chemin Sainte-Marie, and we should put it on the service road of the 40 on the south side.
What about the...
It's a longer path. It's a longer path than on Chemin Sainte-Marie. And the problem with Chemin Sainte-Marie is the cyclists do not do their stops. So what we have to do as we drive, if we see a bicycle coming, we have to stop, we have to wait for him to pass because he's not stopping. That's right. The beauty about the service road, there's no stops, there's no lights, longer path,
There's a lot of pollution.
and there's less problems of anybody getting hurt.
Okay.
So it's a simple solution.
Okay,
not having that becoming a one-way.
I'm sorry, could you just repeat it?
It's a simple solution, will cost less money,
Okay.
and we don't need to have that. Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you very much. Next.
It's me again, Richard Saint-Cyr. I was just wondering if it was possible because only 30 people showed up on December 14th.
30 houses. It could be 40, 60 people. But
30 houses?
Yeah.
Okay. Out of like 232.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be wise just to do another presentation so that people, because in the letter...
And in the presentation, I don't believe we will convince more people.
No, but I mean, we just want people to be aware of what's going on. You know?
I understand.
So now
but
that
your petition itself explains everything.
And I would like to be clear that I used the city's tool, and I said exactly what the city told me that day.
Okay.
So they were able to, they're smart people, to analyze by themselves.
Yeah.
I did not have a gun on me to have them sign, I promise. So,
I understand.
you know, so there's 11 people that did work for the bike path, and 150 were against.
Yeah.
So we're not done. We have we did 70% of the houses, but I think it would be wise, even for people in the district number 2 or number 1 that are going to be affected, and I'm here because they told me that they're going to be affected because their way of going back home is through St. Marie and not going all the way down to Montrose and coming back. So it will affect, they're already affected with the REM and the traffic on that side. Well, I'm just voicing what they told me.
It's an opinion,
I think it would be important for them, for them not to have the surprise when it happens of the same surprise that we had, that we didn't know that we're closing Chemin Sainte-Marie, because you'll have more people that are going to be upset. So I think it would be good to include district number 2 and Timberley, district number 1, with these important changes. We're not just changing the hours of the library here, you know?
Yeah, okay, perfect, thank you.
Good evening, my name is Paddy Bukalet, and I live on 58 in Mossadegh. Besides all the points that have been brought up, I think there is an environmental issue that haven't been considered. Everybody tells me it's 1 minute or 2 minutes, but I calculated the number of tons of CO2 for the household, about 500 cars.
The CO2?
Yes, CO2. Basically, for the cars, it takes 2 minutes more. Each liter of each liter of petrol actually is 2.3 kilos of CO2. So if we count 500 cars for 2 minutes, you have more than 735 tons per year of additional CO2 impact to the environment that actually the bicycle paths are going to be able to be carbon negative, aside all of that. The second question I have is, I hear a lot about the administration that's actually looking at the project, the REM project. Have they taken in consideration all the input?
Yeah, but we're not talking about...
No, I understand that, but this is the question.
Okay,
I know you're not talking about it. I voiced my concern about the closure of St. Marie.
Okay, but the REM, what's the question about the REM?
The REM, what I'm saying, you have an administration looking at all the aspects. Not like they looked at this one, they're trying to put a bicycle.
Yeah, exactly.
Are they looking at all other aspects of the REM affecting the environment that we are actually around?
The environment, we had some presentation from the CDPQ Infra. We had presentation here in Kirkland. There was one, if I'm not mistaken, at the Holiday Inn in Point Claire. And the people from the CDPQ Infra were here to explain noise, pollution, and all those aspects. And this is a project that is driven by the REM, the CDPQ Infra. And we had some really good conversation and some good working, I would say, work exchanges with them. And we never had any issues with them up to now.
Okay, I like to voice my concern about this because I was at the meeting at the Holiday Inn.
Yeah.
And I have spoken in the past to our representative, Mr. Alar, who was there, about the fact that this elevator structure, about the noise, and I gave them some other references to other projects where basically they had to change the building codes because of the noise.
Like in Vancouver.
Yes, in Vancouver. And I'm saying there's a lot of lessons learned from different projects that I'm not quite sure that administration is taking in consideration to really be in front of the line rather than in the back. There's no measurement for the sound. I think I was told at that time there's not going to be more than what the Highway 40 is, which I don't believe that.
That's what we were doing here.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's no measurement.
We'll let the director respond to that.
There is no measuring stations being done before and after. There is no taking in consideration any of the...
We'll give you an answer here, please. Okay.
So a lot of what you just said is not correct. So there are measurements that are taken on sound before and after. There's a commitment and an obligation from CDPQ to ensure that the sound levels of tomorrow are equivalent to the sound levels of the past, and that they do not exceed, that the average sound level, because we always talked about average sound level, does not exceed what was existing. So what you're saying that there was no sound levels taken, or there were homes that they actually put readers on very specific locations, spoken to the city, people's residential homes had locations with readers on them. So they have been doing their work, and there's also an obligation on their part to meet the standards that were set by the country government.
Well, thank you for clarifying that, because the answer I got from NTQ representative, there's not going to be any more noise than what's Highway 4. If you're doing those steps, that's fine. But these kids...
But I want to make clear, we're not doing those steps. Those are obligations.
But you have to ask those questions.
Yes.
Please take into consideration all the previous project that has been done for SkyTrains, Vancouver, and other. Look at all the bylaw that had to be implemented to change because of that. And what I'm saying, be ahead of the curve rather than behind the curve.
May I look at the example tonight? We passed a bylaw concerning the fact that the REM on the north side will be touching all these industrial zones. So we had to do lots of modifications and cost adjustment. And that's one of the reasons. But it's going well with that. Yeah. Okay, next question, please. Concerning St. Marie?
Yes.
Yeah.
What else?
What else?
My name is Sylvie Giuliano. I live at 19 Grey Chance. And I was wondering if any consideration has been given to the fact that there could be an increase in criminal activity in our area, for the fact that if you're leaving our area, there are 2 exits going either east or west on the highway. But if someone has to come into the area, police or any other type of security, they have to go all the way around to get to us first.
Honestly, I never considered it or never thought about it. But it's a good
lights, and they're coming down a one-way street behind a whole bunch of cars going 40 kilometers an hour. Yeah. Whereas someone in my neighborhood could be stealing, breaking in, or whatever, and has easy access to Highway 40, East West.
Yeah, all the houses there.
Yes.
It's easy access to the 40.
Yes.
And that's normally where they find their house to be.
But it's how it is now.
No,
it's exactly like that now.
What she's saying, they want to find the way out.
Oh, the way out, yeah.
They can get out very easily before anybody has a chance to come in.
Everything that's close to the service road, definitely.
Exactly.
And they've got a tendency of choosing the overpass to have easy access. Yeah, it makes sense, but to consider it, no, I never thought about it.
And if the criminal activity goes up, the valuation of our houses go down.
Yeah, in Kirkland, we're out of the 31 station. We're the lowest.
Right now.
No, right now it's been there for, I would say, ages. Since the incorporation of the city. We're the lowest in criminality.
No, I realize that, but should these changes take place?
It could. I cannot say.
It wouldn't change overnight.
It could.
It wouldn't change overnight. Real estate.
Yeah, it could.
No, not overnight, but
yeah,
you would buy a house with that numbers, right? Start selling your house.
Hey, thank you for your comments. Hey, you've got another question?
No, that's it.
Okay, thank you very much.
So for what she's saying is that, for example, the police right now are not in where the Colisée is on that side, right? So even for doing traffic to help out, because there's a lot of traffic, we have cops doing. So if there's an emergency, like we had on Saint-Tropez, like a home invasion a few years ago, that cop would actually go in front of where it's happening. Someone could be on the lookout and say the cop going, yeah, 2 more minutes, buddy, let's go. Let's go. You know? So it's a valid point. We live here, right?
Yeah.
We live there. The second point is if there's a fire, remember that it's Kirkland and Saint-Anne-de-Bellevue that respond to a fire because we don't have a ladder in Kirkland.
No.
We only have a ladder in Saint-Anne-de-Bellevue.
Exactly.
So again, if the house goes on fire, the truck is going to go in front, going to look at the fire and then come back 2 minutes or 2 minutes and a half to run for that. Just like with the extra traffic.
Good point.
Monsieur le maire, il était numéro 12.
Pardon?
Il était numéro 12.
Laisse-moi y aller. Ça fait un changement.
Ouais, ouais.
Oui, après l'agglomération.
Ouais, juste pour vous dire que Mme Olivier, là, a parlé à Radio-Canada le soir de l'adoption du budget qui a répété exactement les
Oui, je le sais.
à Radio-Canada.
Mais je vais te dire, genre, la situation, c'est que moi, j'étais pas là pendant novembre, c'est Paul qui m'a remplacé. OK? Et puis, j'avais pas entendu les propos à l'agglo de Mme Olivier. Je les ai vus dans les journaux, la Gazette, la presse.
Non, c'est juste, j'ai laissé
à un moment donné,
ça.
je voulais m'assurer que ce que Madame, c'était surtout pour que Madame Pinard puisse se prononcer, mais elle voulait se protéger, elle n'a pas répondu.
Un autre sujet du stationnement d'hiver. C'est quoi la politique l'autre fois? Quand on appelle notre centre de sécurité que je me fais rappeler pour me dire qu'il sera de park during the day, avec la neige qu'on a reçue, la neige qui tombait, les gens sortent le véhicule, la charrue n'a pas passé encore.
Ah, mais ça, c'est pas correct.
Mais oui, mais quand est-ce qu'on va donner les contraventions?
Ben, on en a. Ça rentre. Ça rentre à pleine tête.
Comme dans tout, ce fichier, c'est des étudiants, c'est un nouveau qui a commencé, qui ne connaissent pas la vie de la chaudière. Il y a des risques spécifiques. Mon staff est au courant. Puis la situation est corrigée.
Mais c'est pas juste chaudière, ça devrait être sur Méridien aussi. Il y en avait sur Méridien. C'est toujours les mêmes.
Ah oui,
c'est toujours les mêmes. C'est juste que Meloche fait un bel job quand elle ouvre les rues. Question au sujet de justement le projet de Sainte-Marie.
Oui.
Quand est-ce que on répète souvent, peut-être que la greffière va pouvoir me répondre encore là-dessus. On me répète souvent que j'ai entendu ce soir que le conseil a donné un mandat au sujet du projet.
Qu'est-ce qu'on peut
C'est ça.
faire?
Le conseil, ce qui est la résolution du conseil. Non, non, je suis d'accord. Où est-ce qui est la résolution du conseil là-dessus?
Il n'y a pas de résolution.
Non, c'est ça. C'est pas le conseil, c'est le caucus qui a donné.
Exactement.
C'est ça.
Mais le caucus, c'est le conseil.
Non, non. Au sens de la loi de mandat greffière, il y a une différence entre les deux.
Ah, ok, parfait. Ok.
Il devrait avoir une résolution donnée au directeur d'inscrire le projet. Vous auriez dû présenter le projet.
On va faire une résolution pour donner plus de billets sur Chaudière. C'est ce que tu dis.
Oui, c'est en plein ça.
La réponse, c'est que le conseil travaille avec les résolutions, le mandat a été donné sans résolution.
C'est ça, le mandat a été donné sans résolution.
Il y a des illégales.
Il a été donné par le caucus.
Il y a des illégales du sol.
C'est plus
Ça fonctionne toujours de même, merci.
Oui. OK, prochaine, dernière question. Je pense Sainte-Marie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Patrick Trudeau again.
Patrick, what was your address again?
I just wanted to say.
What's your address again?
Oh, I'm at 11 Kirkland, but I'm also representing my mom at 60 Pace.
Patrick, apartment? Patrick, 11.
I just wanted to take 30 more seconds.
What apartment he asked?
Oh, 104.
Oh, okay.
So I'm actually working for the condos as well, so I'm a part of the community in many ways. I just wanted to take 30 more seconds to say that the way things proceeded tonight, what people had to say, and the way you responded to it, I really appreciate the fact that you are going to take everybody's concerns into account. It's very important for me as a resident of Kirkland to know that you guys have our backs and you're going to be there to represent us. And I wanted to say that I really do appreciate that. I'm impressed at the civility that was shown today by the majority of people and how things went very, very smoothly.
Exactly.
And I really do appreciate it. I want to say thank you very much for that. And I hope that when it comes time to reevaluating the project, that you are able to include a small group of the residents to help you in decision making. So thank you very much.
Perfect. Okay, you're next.
Last one?
Last one? Yeah. Just put show
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Bob Cox, 168 Niagara, Kirkland. La rue du Niagara.
You should Niagara.
Excuse me, can I talk, please?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, over the years, I've been talking about the rates.
Okay, but you know our decision on that.
Just let me
okay, ask your question.
Over the years, I've been talking about an artificial
exterior
rate to replace the ice rinks. Like this year, the amount, it started when I was coming here, maybe $60,000 a year.
Yeah, 60,000.
Going back years now. I've been coming to the council meetings.
Yeah, but what's the $60,000 a year? Oh, the contract. Okay, perfect.
Now it's up to something like $140,000.
To clean it. Yeah.
To maintain it.
And we're maintaining it ourselves.
Yeah, but it's still costing the city. If I'm not mistaken, the last meeting, Mr. Celulito told us that it was. They were spending the same amount of money. Okay? And now, just this year alone, I don't think we had 2 weeks of rates. It's about time that the city, I mean, going back years ago, the council even told me, Bob, you'll never see an artificial rate outdoors. That I was told that by the council.
Yeah.
Well, I am asking you once more to look at some situations like Point Claire. You spent what was Joe, Mr. Celulito?
Yeah, it's okay.
What was the amount this year spent for the rinks?
I don't know yet. We haven't finished the year. So it really depends.
Approximately 140,000?
Good number.
Okay. Point Claire, they have two artificial rinks that they work out. It costs them something, if I'm not mistaken, I'm just giving you a small figure, something like $260,000. They take it away at the end of the year. Okay? This is not permanent. It's just for the year.
Okay.
Now, but those rinks are operating all the time. Our rinks, if it's cold, you might get how many weeks?
Not many.
Not many. Thanks very much, sir. I think we're spending too much money on this, and we should be looking for an artificial rink outdoors.
Okay.
And you know what? It's not in another 3 years. The people of Kirkland, which I'm very proud of Kirkland, and I hear the people here even saying they're proud of their city. And we should start looking into it as soon as possible. I think we got the possibility of doing a rink within the next year or so.
Okay.
We could have meetings, suggest it where the central, and I'll give you an example of a nice rink that was built, indoor valve, with a little roof on it.
Yeah.
Do you look at the?
Because they need a roof because the sun.
No. I'm just showing you.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example.
I was with the dog and we talked about it also. Oh, you got it? Okay.
You got it?
Yeah. Okay, but just give it here. I'll take a copy.
Well, you can have it.
Okay, perfect. Okay, then. I saw it. Okay. Okay, mate, thank you for your comment, Bob.
I would like to know.
We already took a decision that no, we're not going that way. Bob, talk to us about the other project you would.
Yes, the other project. Yes, yes.
That's the one we're working on. Okay, we'll have a presentation probably in.
Well, this is good.
Okay, but we've got that piece of land that's reserved. As you know, you were here at the meeting.
Yes, I'm here at every council meeting.
Where we set aside $9 million for the repurchase of the land, and we sold to Roosevelt.
And you got $72 million to work on it.
Yeah, and that's it, and we're working on something that we'll announce in a couple of months. Yeah. No, I don't want to push it.
No, that's okay.
But you know where we're going with that.
Yeah, yes, but
that's the priority for now. It's not outside rinks. Oh, I mean not outside rinks. But I'm saying refrigerated rinks.
Mr. Gibson, I'm suggesting that you look at Point Claire, what they did. It cost, I don't know, maybe $200,000.
What I'm saying, Bob, I'm saying thank you for your suggestion. We're not going that way. The council didn't decide in our 3-year program, infrastructure program, ice rinks or artificial rinks are not included. So
no, but I've been asking that for how many years?
Yes, you can ask as long as you want. But basically,
as long as I want.
Yeah, but
does that make sense? With the environment?
Yeah. And we decided not to go that way.
You?
Yeah, but thank you. The council did.
They decide.
Okay.
We don't decide anything.
The council decides. And we basically had studies done probably 10 years ago when you started talking about it. And I remember at that time, just one would cost us close to $350 with the maintenance and the equipment that was close to $420 10 years ago. Could be basically $600,000, $700,000 now for an outside ring.
No, it would cost you more than that to build an outside ring.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, babe, listen, Bob.
Okay, it's okay. My next question is.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's why I'm last, because I know I'm going to ask you 2 questions and I might get up again and ask 2 more questions.
Okay, go ahead.
Is that okay? Hey.
Fantastic.
You got a good smile tonight.
Okay, go ahead, Bob.
I'm talking about for the past week and a half or so, I don't know if it's just around my area, the drinking water is unbelievable, sir.
I live in your area, and any problem? The water is okay.
I'm tasting like chlorine. Chlorine.
Chlorine?
Yes. Well.
Okay. We test our water, Montreal, basically Chicago. It's the responsibility. So you just go, why don't you bring it to the
Well, I should have, you know, it's okay now. But I'm saying to myself, what's happening? Do they do it?
What's happening, Bob? Yeah, when it's happening, call Joe, call myself or Nancy. We'll go and basically it's probably like you're saying the chlorine or the sulfur, I don't know.
No, it's chlorine.
Okay, but call Nancy.
But I said to myself, you know,
did it happen today or?
No, I just told you, like a week and a half ago.
Okay, then if it happens again, call
Nancy.
Nancy.
I know, I should have called,
okay.
I've been very busy.
Okay. Okay.
And the project about, the new project is coming, we're going to have big meetings about it.
Which project you're talking
about? Well, the special project. You want me to bring it out?
Oh, the big project. At one point, when the actual consultant will present the possibility of that piece of land, what we can do, then council will basically decide what they want there based on the need of the population, like always, and then we'll present it to our residents.
But will you have, like, remember,
we'll have
the condos and all that, they had meetings here?
Yeah, we'll have a presentation.
Showing us the building.
Yeah.
What's going to be inside the building.
Yeah, yeah.
What's going to be outside, the parking.
And we have to.
And all this.
Because, yeah. And you'll be part of it. To be part of the presentation.
Well, I thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you. Okay, I think we'll call it a night. And I would basically ask everybody that, or tell everybody that our next meeting is Monday, February the 6th at 8 p.m., lundi 6 février, 2023 à 20h. And also, tomorrow you'll be receiving in your at your house info flash that will be basically discussing the activities that we've got, especially the Kirkland Carnival, where we'll have some activities for the young and the seniors, but also for the mothers. We've got on the reverse side, we've got the actual school break program during that 2 weeks, I believe, or 1 week. So I need somebody to for closing the meeting, a proposer. I'll propose that, Paul before. And second?
I'll second that, Nancy Cookie, the citizen.
Thank you all for coming. It was very enjoyable.